This is the Dave and Shecky Show, not the groovy boob tube review. We don't review movies, but it will be pretty groovy. We'll play some poems for you and talk about the Tom Cruise news. This is Dave and Shecky Show. This is the Dave and Shecky Show, not the groovy boob tube review. We don't review movies, but it will be pretty groovy. We'll drink way too much coffee, then we'll reference Muammar Gaddafi. This is the frickin' Dave and Shecky Show.
Hey there, hi there, ho there, and welcome to another exciting adventure with Dave and Shecky on the Dave and Shecky Show. Not the Groovy Boob Tube, right, Dave?
That's true.
This is not the Groovy Boob Tube. This is just the Dave and Shecky Show.
True.
And Dave is very enthusiastic about the Dave and Shecky Show, as you can tell. And let's start things off right with everyone's favorite segment.
What's on Dave's turntable? What's on Dave's turntable?
All kinds of crazy stuff.
What's on Dave's turntable? What's on Dave's turntable?
7 tunes.
Boom,
You know, 5 of the tunes were really good. 4 of the tunes were good.
So what is this actually?
That's Jerry Garcia from the Grateful Dead, guy with 4 fingers on his right hand.
From a tragic lawnmower accident, right?
I'm not sure what the origin of that is, but if you say so, I believe you.
And so was the Grateful Dead broken up, or did he just want to do some of his own thing?
And the Grateful Dead never broke up.
Okay.
No, that's actually not true. They went on hiatus for about a year around 1975. Then they came back with a fucking killer album, Blues for Allah.
So why did they go on hiatus? Was somebody ill?
They had it. They'd had it with the whole scene, man. It was overload. And, a bunch of shit went down. One of the drummer's fathers extorted hundreds of thousands of dollars from the band.
Oh, was this right around then? So they were just like...
It was a couple years after, but, a couple years is pretty close.
I see.
That's what He's Gone is about.
Well, this says 1974 on the album cover.
Well, there you go. Jerry was always had a solo career, He was always doing his thing on the side.
Oh, so this wasn't his first solo album?
No, I think this is his second or third.
Now, at what point is he called the Jerry Garcia Band?
For purposes of live playing and perhaps maybe... and maybe some of his later albums in the 80s.
I have a double DVD of the Jerry Garcia Band live.
That would be in the 80s.
A double CD.
I would think.
Okay, so he just always came out as just Jerry Garcia.
No, I'm not sure. Jerry Garcia on his albums, for sure. First couple albums were just his solo statements. You got Jerry Garcia, then you got Reflections, you got this one, which is also called Garcia.
Garcia. Now,
See, Garcia was hip, though, because he was much better than the Grateful Dead, in my opinion. He was always much better than the Dead.
The
Dead are excellent.
He's like John Popper.
You could say that John Popper is similar to him in that sense, yes.
Because John Popper's solo is better to me than Blues Traveler.
I hear you.
Anyway, I'm looking at this album, and I don't see any other artists mentioned. Like, who's playing on this album?
Yeah, you got Ronnie Tutt, who played for Elvis.
How do you know that?
Neil Diamond.
How do you know that?
Because I know the history of the Grateful Dead. I know the origins.
Okay, because it's not on the album cover.
Yeah, but I read the books. I studied the history. I lived the scene.
Oh, okay. So Ronnie Tutt also plays on Elvis's classic Hawaiian concert. Oh, really?
Yeah, he's Elvis's drummer. He's very good. He also plays with Neil Diamond.
So was he a studio guy?
I think it's Neil Diamond.
Or just a drummer for hire?
Not so much a studio guy, but just he was an established professional drummer.
Kind of like Anton Fig.
Yes, kind of like that.
And
yeah.
So he was never in a band.
I don't know if he was a band member, but
not a big I
don't know how Jerry kept. I mean, he was a member of Jerry's band for as long as Jerry had a band, pretty much.
Oh, really?
Occasionally, Jerry did some things without him, but Ron Tutt was his main drummer, as well as John Kahn on bass.
And where's he from? And how do you spell Kahn? Kahn?
Yeah, I think so.
Like Kahn!
Wrath of John Kahn.
Okay. And where's he? Didn't?
I think he's from the Bay Area, being San Francisco, that is.
Okay, so that's how he knew him.
Yeah, John Kahn actually died about 2 months after Jerry died, or something like that.
Oh, really?
Of a heroin overdose.
Oh, boy.
Once Jerry died, John died.
Wow. You are knowledgeable on the Grateful Dead history.
And now there's some other guys on this that I'm not sure. There's some violin player, and it could be Papa John Creech for all I know. I don't even know who it is.
Papa don't preach?
Papa John Creech is an old-school fiddle player, played with Jefferson Airplane and Hot Tuna.
So also a Bay Area person?
Exactly. That's why I would think maybe him, but it could be another guy, like a white guy. I'm not sure.
Okay. Or a white guy.
Yeah, Papa John Creech was an old-school black guy. Now,
why is this on your turntable?
Because it's funky. And now, not to mention, the song is Rolling Stones.
Right. Well, that I noticed.
And Jerry does a much hipper, funky version than the Stones, in my opinion. So, I always like to listen to a variety of stuff.
You do? Well, I think we both love Jerry, but you know more about Jerry than I do.
Well, I like Jerry. In my book, Jerry is as heavy as Coltrane.
Yeah.
Or Hendrix, or Miles Davis, or Britney Spears. Oh, no, just... At what age should it be against the law to actually be into Britney Spears? Like, if you're like a 75-year-old man, that's just fucking perverted.
Yeah, well, if you're above the age of, like, say 20, and you're a guy, you're either gay. I mean, and you like Britney Spears, you're either gay, or you're like a weird pedophile. But I guess she's of age now, so.
Exactly.
It's still somehow
At what point
perverted.
at what point do you let it go as a guy and it's healthy? Yeah. You like Britney at 19, but do you like her at 39? That's pushing it.
I mean,
somewhere in there you got to give it up.
If you like her at 39, you're just
smoking pot and drinking or something. Maybe you got to move on.
But see, I think when you're younger, when you're the age that you're really into her music, it's before you realize what good music is.
That's true.
So I think as you get older...
Well, it's all relative to what goes on around you.
Yeah. I mean, there's been times when I've seen her in videos where she is just ridiculously hot looking. And there's just no way that any man could resist that. But her singing is just, okay. And the songs are... I don't remember any of them except the Oops, I Did It Again. For whatever
Oops, I Crapped My Pants.
Maybe that's why I remember it. Because of Oops, I Crapped My Pants. Oh boy, but Britney is not in the same league as Jerry Garcia. I think most everyone will agree. I think most everyone will agree about that. And so you just you listen to Jerry down here?
I do. I crawl into the basement and I sit and listen to Jerry and Cream and Hendrix.
You listen to Cream down here?
I'm down here listening to fucking live Cream, man.
See, I don't come down here often enough. I don't know what's going on.
I'm
down
like a
here.
bad episode of Saturday Night Live. I'm like the writer. What's his name?
Oh, I know, but Dave, that reference,
rock.
that reference is so like no one's going to get that.
Come on, we were at that episode.
We went to an episode. We went to a taping.
Brendan Fraser
of
Brendan. I don't know what his name is.
That guy. We went to a taping of Saturday Night Live. We got sent tickets, and the opening scene was Al Franken's partner. Was it Tom Davis?
Yeah, he was down there smoking weed and listening to Cream.
Yeah, it's like the opening skit of the Saturday Night Live was that they had locked him in a basement.
Lorne Michaels had locked him away
in a basement for like 25 years, and they just discovered him. He was still locked in there, and he was just really high all the time or
Caught in
something.
a 1970s vibe.
Sadly, it wasn't as
That
funny.
was the best part of the show, and it
Yeah.
wasn't even that funny.
Yeah,
Busta Rhymes was music on there.
and you couldn't even hear it when you're in the Saturday Night Live audience. You really can't even hear the musical guest that well, or at least I couldn't. It sounded very like echoey and stuff.
Very bizarre experience.
It was a bizarre experience, and they really want you to applaud all the time. Like the applaud lights are always on.
And who was saying it was weird? And it was weird because they're performing right in front of you, yet everyone's looking at them on the TV above their heads.
It's easier to see that way because we were up above them, and you really it's
like you're watching TV at a live event, and it's right there in front of you.
That's kind of like the Letterman show too.
Bijan.
When I went to see the Letterman show being taped, there were so many people standing in front of his desk. There's like a camera guy, then there's the cue card guy, and then there's maybe like a floor producer or whatever. You can't ever see Dave. All you see is the band. There's like people lined up in front of Dave, so you actually have to look at the monitors.
Wow.
And it was kind of
Who
like...
Who was the guest on that show? Do you remember?
I went with my friend Jay, and he had an in with Tony Randall's publicist somehow.
Tony Randall was on?
Whenever Tony Randall was doing something, Jay was able to get us tickets for it.
Great.
That's why we were there. Tony Randall was a guest on the Letterman show.
With his potato chips.
What do you mean?
Tony Randall would always come on Letterman, and he'd have like a bag of potato chips that he happened to also be endorsing on a commercial, and it was like, he'd be like, "That's right, Dave," and it was like Pringles or Ruffles
really?
or something.
I don't remember that. I just remember him being on the Letterman show.
He was always on. He'd just come on out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, no, he was a planned guest that night,
Okay.
apparently. But I remember it was freezing in there. We couldn't see Dave, and the band was really good.
Oh, yeah.
And I during like a commercial break, I was like, Anton! Because, of course, I'm a stupid Kiss fan, and he did some albums with Ace Frehley. So I'm yelling out Anton Fig's name during a commercial break. For what reason, I don't know. What was he going to do? Come over and say hi?
I'm sure he appreciated the nod out.
Yeah.
The nod out. What was he on, heroin?
I did not
He
nod
appreciated the nod out, man. Really great.
out. Who doesn't love a great nod out? Well, there you go. That was what's on Dave's turntable.
Yes.
Jerry Garcia's Garcia from 1974.
Yeah, I'm just a weirdo. They don't make them like that anymore.
They don't make them...
They don't make them anymore.
They don't
That's what I was thinking.
What? Songs or music or you?
They just don't make them anymore.
Make what?
Oh, you
What's
know. Whatever you can fill in the blank. Like, we were watching Nighthawks for a couple of seconds the other day.
Don't
and I was
bring it
thinking,
up.
they don't make movies like that anymore. And then I was listening to this music, and I was thinking, they don't make music like that anymore. And then I'm just thinking, they don't make them anymore.
They don't make anything like that.
They don't make them anymore.
They just stopped making them altogether. They don't even, it's not even that they don't make them like that anymore. They
Your
just don't
ATM
make
machines, they don't make them anymore. I don't make that. It's not the same.
Not the same as what?
I don't know. I'm just filling the blank.
Okay, terrific. So, Big Brother started and is in full swing. I love Big Brother, and I love that the season 6 people who got so wronged last year are back again in season 7.
What do you mean they got so wronged?
They got wronged last year. The nerd herd ganged up on them, lied and cheated, and were able to evict our beloved players.
Who won last year?
That stupid bitch that was Cappy's partner.
Oh, Yvette.
No.
Why Vet?
Yvette was enamored with Cappy, but she wasn't his partner.
She didn't win?
No. That other blonde, heavy-set chick.
No.
Yes, the nurse from Las Vegas who knew Cappy, who was a fireman from Las Vegas.
Maggie?
Maggie!
She didn't win. She won?
Yes, she won.
Oh.
We didn't watch I was so pissed off last season.
You boycotted it, and I just figured, what the hell, I don't give a shit, so I didn't watch either.
I was so upset about the events of last year's Big Brother that I boycotted the season finale because I didn't give a shit. It was Yvette and Maggie, and I didn't care who won because it wasn't my beloved Janelle, Howie, or Kaser.
Well, there you go.
But this year, Janelle, Howie, and Kaser are back along with people from other seasons, and I'm hoping that season 6 people will be vindicated, and one of them will come home with a win. What do you think, Dave?
I think I might have to vote for Will.
You liked Evil Dr. Will from season 2. He did win $1 million or $500,000.
I just think his attitude's funny. I like the way he just likes to fuck with people.
He's an asshole, and he doesn't apologize for being one, and he doesn't pretend.
And he
not
seems.
to be
I mean,
one.
they haven't targeted him yet. He wasn't the first. No one seems to care about him.
Yeah, there are a few people that are under the radar right now.
Like everyone knows he's an asshole, but he's like a charismatic asshole.
Well, he's a doctor. He's
Trust
got
him,
the
he's a
bedside.
doctor.
Exactly. He had a T-shirt on. Trust me, I'm a doctor.
So I think he's worthy. And other than him, I like. I don't mind the season 6 people. They were entertaining. I like them.
You know what? You're not enamored with Kaser, Janelle.
I'm not
and Howie?
enamored with Kaser. He might be a little bit of a. I don't know what he is yet. Not sure about him.
Oh, he's beloved.
He might just be the kind of guy who would execute you.
Oh, shut up,
He's
David.
to me, he's like Saeed from Lost. He's a mercenary.
I love Saeed from Lost, but
Right.
I love Kaser, and
I don't mind him, but I'm not sure if I trust him yet.
well, all right then. I
like
can't-
him. Let's put it this way: I liked him more when he was fucking the scapegoat last year.
He wasn't a scapegoat.
Well, they used him. He
Well,
was
yeah,
wrong.
he was wrong.
He put his trust in those assholes, and they dogged him.
And you notice how none of the assholes made it back? None of the people that... There was two factions
some of the
last
assholes
year.
made it back.
No, from last year?
From last year.
None of them were voted in.
I guess who was last year? Who was in it? No, Cappy.
Cappy, Maggie, Yvette, Jennifer, the one who...
the twins.
those evil...
Was that last year, the twins?
Yeah. April or what were the twins? April was Busto. None of those people were invited to come back this year because no one liked them.
Interesting.
I think Big Brother took such a weird turn last year. The only one back from last year is...
of the unliked?
Yeah, there's actually no one back from last year that's unliked. James wasn't in either of the factions.
James and his bizarre girlfriend.
Oh, they were cute together. I know. Did they say they were still together or no?
No mention of her.
Interesting.
Joms.
So I'm rooting for anybody from season 6, and I do like Will, and Mike Boogie's just completely out of his mind.
I think it's... Yeah, I don't mind. I got no problem with Will or Mike Boogie. I don't...
I hate Danielle.
I think it's very amusing how any other blonde who is in the house is going to have a problem with Janelle. That's just very interesting.
Because Janelle is beautiful.
That's just classic.
She's smart, and she can win those competitions. And those women in there are like petty bitches. There's nothing worse than women being petty because it's really ugly. But when you sit there and say you don't like Janelle and don't really have a great reason for it, it's because you're jealous.
I don't mind Jace either. Whatever.
Jace is hilarious.
No problem with him. He's pretty funny.
He's hilarious, but he seems to be storing things in his underpants.
Yeah, I think that was the chum.
I don't even...
That was the chum they poured down there. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt that he had fish in his pants.
There was something in there. And it seemed like it was struggling to bust out.
He's a joke. He's wearing no shirt and fucking those shorts. What is he, a fucking Greek fucking statue? He was ridiculous.
Those shorts were the shortest shorts I've ever seen on a man.
It's like fucking a redneck Greek statue guy.
He's hilarious, though. But see, he's entertaining. He's completely out of his mind. And
He is entertaining.
Also, how entertaining is Howie? He's a Jedi, for God's sakes.
That guy is a buffoon.
Howie is a weatherman somewhere in the United States who also happens to think he's a Jedi Knight. And to me, that's a great combination.
Yeah, what the hell?
There's another show on CBS that we've been watching a lot. And last year we watched it, and it was like, but maybe it was because we weren't into the band so much. It's Rockstar. Last year it was Rockstar In Excess. And I was never a big In Excess fan. Were you?
No.
I mean, I've never owned any of their albums. And I just never thought they were like... I never thought that they were a band that deserved to have a TV show about them. But we were still kind of pulled into the show. The guy we hated the most won. I don't even remember what his name was. Oh, was it JD?
I think so.
Ugh, what a dick. And he shouldn't have won, but somehow he did. And so they brought the show back this year, and it's Rockstar Supernova.
Yes. Supernova. That's a really good name, guys.
Well,
That's great.
Rockstar Supernova, and it's with Gilby Clarke. Is that his name?
Who's he, a hairdresser?
Gilby, I think his last name is Clarke. I'm
Looks
not sure.
like a hairdresser.
He was involved with Guns N' Roses. I don't know, was he guitarist? He's no Duff or Slash. So
He's the Harry Shearer of the band.
I'm not sure what that means, but
He looks, he's got that look.
oh, well, and then they have Tommy Lee, who may just be the most overrated drummer ever. And then they've got this guy, Jason Newsted from Metallica.
Yes.
So they've got together and formed Supernova. And they're looking for a new singer. And that's the quest of this show, Rockstar. And a lot of these singers are awful.
Yes, they are.
And then, of course, it's hosted by Dave Navarro and Brooke Burke.
That's Navarro.
Navarro. It is?
I don't know.
What did I say, Navarro?
Yeah.
Oh.
At least it's not Navarro.
But he's like, I don't know, they seem like, those guys they all seem like assholes except for that Jason Newsted character.
Jason Newsted is like, the concerned teacher.
But he seems like he's genuinely a fairly cool guy, while Gilby, whatever his name is, you gotta
Gilby
name like
Clarke.
You gotta name like Gilby.
Let's go hunting for dove.
Shut up! I don't even know what that means.
You go dove hunting
With Gilby?
Yes, Gilby Clarke's dove hunting. Come along.
I don't know, but he seems like a complete asshole. And Tommy, the overrated lead drummer,
Tommy Lee needs to rest. That guy needs to get some sleep. Look at him. He's like on crank or something.
He's on like Stacker 3 or something, He's completely like...
I think he had Stacker 3 on his neck. What the hell was that?
He had a hickey.
That was not a hickey. That was like a fucking leech. He had leeches on him.
Ah! He had gone swimming in some sort of swamp-like area.
Tommy Lee in Bridge Over the River Kwai.
Ugh. Ew. He had a huge hickey on his neck. His eyes are so... like he never blinks because he's just wired on something. He's on something, and it's not the caffeine.
He seems like, Tommy Lee is a perfect example of a guy who never will give up the idea of being 24 or 5. He's perpetually, like, hanging on to being, like, in his 20s.
He seems like it...
And his hair is getting all funny. He has to put his hair all weird because it's not the same as it was. Hey, he's about the same age as Matt Dillon. And although Matt Dillon's a lot creepier, he looks a lot healthier.
Matt Dillon is creepy. There's no denying it. He is creepy.
Creepy MD.
Creepy MD. Not to be confused with Stinky MF, which we won't go into.
He might have chompers. I'm not sure.
Well, he had chompers and something about Mary.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking. Okay,
those
sorry.
chiclet teeth
that
they
was
put
really
on
classic.
him were just... they were just... they gave me nightmares.
I like Matt Dillon. He's excellent. And Kevin Dillon's good too, so I got no problem.
Entourage
no
is
problem
a great
with a Dillon
show.
family.
Are you liking Entourage?
I like Entourage. Yeah, that's a funny show.
It's really good.
I like all that. That's very funny.
Before we drift too much off of the subject, who do you think is going to take it all for Rockstar?
Battles.
What's her name? Delana?
Didn't she star in House of Sand and Fog?
That woman was in House of Sand and Fog, and she was also in 24.
Now she's trying to be Rockstar.
No, but it's not the same lady, but she does sound like her. But
I don't know. She might fizzle out like Jordash or whatever.
I think it's Toby all the
Jordis.
way. I think it's Toby.
Toby, yeah.
Toby from Australia.
He means well.
I think they like him. I think they want to. They already have such attitudes and egos between Tommy and Gilby. I think they're going to look for somebody with little ego. Because the truth of the matter is, with In Excess, when In Excess was doing it, they needed a front man because they were a bunch of boring motherfuckers. They needed someone who had a little bit of an edge to him, who was a little wacky, and who could speak for the band. But when you have a band with Tommy Lee in it,
you know what?
He's going to be speaking for the band. So they want someone who's just going to shut the fuck up and sing.
That's true, but I just realized Gilby Clarke he's not powerful enough. He doesn't hold his own.
You mean musically?
Yeah, if they wanted this to be Supernova, they needed Slash, not Gilby Clarke. Who the fuck is Gilby Clarke? It's Slash. That's who they need. That's why it's not a real supergroup, because Gilby Clarke's a fucking faker. He's not a real guy. He's not the real deal.
Was he a lead guitarist or rhythm?
No one knows who he is. That's the problem.
I had no idea. When they said he was from Guns N' Roses,
Look,
I was like, I don't know who
Duff
that is.
Or Slash.
That's what I was
if it's
thinking.
Not Duff or Slash or Matt Sorum, the replacement drummer. I'll give him that. But both Matt Sorum and Slash are in Velvet Revolver.
Okay.
With Scott Weiland. And that's a real supergroup, basically, in terms of nowadays. Not that they're any good, but they are a supergroup.
Right. Well, no, I think their album is good. We don't have it, but I've heard some stuff of it. See, I'm very much a fan of hard rock and heavy metal. So when I hear some stuff that is decent, like on whatchamacallit, what's that show? Super Group from VH1?
Savage Animal.
But when they finally put together a song and they took it to the producer of Green Day, and he's like, it's dated, I'm thinking to myself, fuck off. It sounds great.
Yeah, that song sounded good. Fuck you, dated. He's dated. He dated his fucking son. That's why he's a fucking ass.
I couldn't believe he was saying that. I mean, when you've got musicians who are all pretty hard rock and all sitting there agreeing that they like the song that they just made together.
Doc McGee.
I mean, it's like, how can you sit there and say it's dated?
Yeah, that show is absurd.
What do you expect from them? They're fucking heavy metal guys from the 80s and the 90s.
A guy with a fucking alligator Lacoste shirt telling you that you have to be at a meeting at 11:30 in the morning. That's good. That'll help him write some good music.
I mean, when they said that, I think they just had the season finale and we didn't watch it.
The wrap up. But
I mean, that when he said it was dated, I just wanted to punch him. It was just uncool.
I hear you.
Savage Animal.
Got to give it up to Sebastian Bach.
He is, you know what?
Classic.
He is classic. And the other thing is that he is just, I mean, other than being an alcoholic, he's really into the whole, like, he never got past being like 18 or 19 years old.
He didn't seem like he was that bad of an alcoholic. I mean, he might be an alcoholic. I don't know. He didn't. I've seen a lot worse. He seems like he was pretty much together. He just seems like he's a real, he wants the world to revolve around him.
Yeah, he's classic lead singer.
He seemed like he didn't look. I mean, he's how old is he? He looks relatively healthy to me.
I think he's like our age. He might be like 40 or something.
He doesn't. I don't think he's that bad. I think he has some sort of shit grounded. It seems like his parents grounded him somehow, and he's not that bad.
He seems like his dad was really cool. Like he was saying stuff that his dad had told him.
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
And it seemed like his dad was really cool, but then his dad died, and I think he just started like hitting the wine pretty heavy.
I mean, look at him, and then look at like Janie Lane. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's got a problem. Sebastian Bach didn't appear to have a problem, or at least they didn't make him out to have a problem like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's, what's his name from Taxi? That guy's got a problem.
Jeff Conaway?
Yeah. That's Sebastian Bach got it done. He wrote the song. They did the whole thing. He's as cheesy as he is. He's a good fucking hard rock singer.
Yeah, he's got
he's on Broadway.
His voice sounds great, and I mean, those guys. That's an entertaining show. I don't like that they've named it Super Group, but it's like it's.
I really think that the bigger problem right now is Gilby Clarke.
Gilby Clarke.
That guy is which one of these things does not belong? What is it, Sesame Street? Get him out of here. Anyway, who's better
Sorry,
than him?
Gilby, you're not right for our band in excess.
Yeah, the hell.
So I think.
Oh, and who is that Eddie Munster motherfucker?
Who?
Eddie Munster? No. Yeah.
Ooh, in the Rockstar?
The guy with the funny look.
Lucas Rossi?
Lucas Rossi.
He's gonna make it to like I think he'll be in like the top 5 or 6, but
how's he going to go up against Toby? I mean, you look at that guy. The guy's good looking, and you look at him. He looks like a maniac.
I think it's just like from the get go, from the first episode, Delana and Toby were the two standout performers.
And they're both from fucking Australia. I think the dingoes invaded them.
The dingoes might have eaten their babies,
exactly.
But I think it's going to be Toby all the way. I think it's Toby's good looking, so you're going to get the 13-year-old kids that like him. And or the girls, and then you're going to get the people who like the the musicians themselves who are going to be an older. I mean, they're thinking money anyway.
He sings in tune. Some of those guys really suck. That one guy with that loose kind of like fucking wishy-washy drawl. The guy who's like,
who's that? I don't know.
Like Pete or Tim or something. Like he's really like got this really like kind of washy, wimpy kind of like no backbone approach. That was the one that Jason Newsted said he just wants to see him rock.
Oh, I don't think I know. Oh! Is he the guy that kind of looks like James from Big Brother?
Yeah, and he's all kind of like he sounded like he was on Quaaludes basically.
Yeah, I mean some of them
cannot sing at all.
Some of them are
like that Lucas Rossi. I think he sings his ass off. I just think he looks like a weirdo.
He's definitely an oddball, but I don't mind if you look odd. But as long as you can sing.
It looks unhealthy. It's like that whole punk new wave unhealthy look.
I actually think he might be a midget, Dave. I think he might, and they haven't really told us yet.
Is he standing on someone's shoulders?
He just has that head. He's got that head thing going. That I might be a midget head thing going. Is
Nick Cage really a mongoloid?
Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, who said that?
Who said that?
We were watching something on TV, and they're like, no, he's not retarded. Like, he's not a mongoloid. You know, there's like Mongola, not mongoloid. Something there's like.
What are you talking about?
The guy on TV said something like not mongoloid, like Nick Cage, like the actor Nick Cage.
Are you sure that wasn't on like Opie and Anthony or Ron and Fez?
I don't know. It was fucking hysterical. And now that I think about it, he does have a little bit of that kind of Down syndrome look to him, doesn't he?
Shut up.
Come on, if you think about it.
I will not let you speak about Nicolas Cage that way.
Maybe borderline Down syndrome.
The other day, or a month or so ago, we talked about favorite actors, and I could have sworn.
Yes, he's one of my favorites, but now I'm like, oh my God. I can actually see it. Almost like that kid who's the actor in he's been in a couple of movies. Maybe
Corky?
He was in Bad News Bears, I think.
There was no retarded person in Bad News Bears. Oh, Kelly Leach?
No. He looks like he's what? Like, wait, was it in that Martin movie, Rebound? Or
the really tall
Kicking
kid?
and Screaming? No, the kid who was telling like jokes and he kind of almost looks like his Down syndrome.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, that's the really tall kid with like no chin.
Maybe. I just know that there's some actors out there that something's going on.
Sometimes there's something.
It's not bad. It's just I'm like, oh, I never realized it until now.
But sometimes that, especially with guys, there's like a thing that they don't have to be handsome. There just has to be something that makes you look twice, and then along with the acting ability, then they become popular. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
With girls, not so much.
Well,
very rarely.
Yeah.
Very rarely. I mean, the acting for a woman to not be super attractive, for the most part.
Well, then they get those roles.
Yeah, but I mean, you know,
like Kathy Bates.
Yeah, but you know, she's the exception because her acting is so amazing. She is just a really great actress.
And who was that fat? There was like that really fat woman who was in all those commercials back in the day. She almost like seems like she's like from Wisconsin or something.
Oh, Edie McClurg. Is that who you're talking about?
She's like gets a lot of roles.
She's got a great voice though.
She's everyone's favorite mom.
Everybody loves her.
She'll bake some cookies for you.
She will. They should do a really like filthy like hentai animated porn movie and
what's hentai?
That's like Japanese animated porn.
I thought that was anime.
No, anime is just anime.
Hentai.
You make it sound so
Jewish. What? You come over, we'll have some hentai and some matcha. It's going to be great.
Time for Tom Cruise news.
Tom Cruise news.
From TMZ.com, the flurry over Surrey. Harvey Levin writes, "Where the heck is Surrey Cruise? My cynical opinion, Tom wants to outdo Brad. So here's my theory. Brad and Angelina got around $4 million for the first pics of Shiloh, which they donated to charity. The word on the street is that Tom and Katie couldn't get more than $3 million for Surrey pics. When you're as big as Tom Cruise, the only place to go is down. He was the biggest star in the world for a long time, loved by all. Now he's neither the biggest nor loved that much. But wait, there's a solution. Create a mystery and the world will go crazy. That's exactly what I think is going on. If people start questioning if this baby really exists, the pictures automatically become more valuable. If he gets more than $4 million, he beats Brad. I'm guessing if that happens, the money goes to Scientology, which could make the whole plan backfire. And that's this week's
Tom Cruise News.
So what do you think? Do you think Surrey exists, or do you think that Tom Cruise is just holding out for the highest bidder on those first photographs?
I don't know. How could they keep her? How could what? She just doesn't leave the house?
I guess
you don't have to leave the house.
There's
Tom Cruise.
There's all this speculation about the birth certificate being not quite right. Like the doctor who usually delivers the baby is the one who's supposed to sign the birth certificate, and at this particular hospital, that's the way it's been done for years and years and years. Yet the doctor did not sign that birth certificate. A nurse who wasn't even in the room at the time signed it. And the birth certificate, apparently, they issue their birth certificates like within a week of the baby being born, and this one was a month later.
Well, he is Tom Cruise's kid. It's a different category of birth.
Do you think there's something wrong with it?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just don't know what the hell's going on.
Do you well, A, there's something wrong with her. B, she doesn't exist at all.
What's the benefit of that?
Of what?
Her not existing. Why would that occur? Why would they do that?
Because they would have made up all this brouhaha while he had Mission Impossible out. It was all kind of a PR stunt to get people interested in Tom Cruise. And C is that it's like this gentleman suggests in his article that they're just holding out for more money and that they want to beat Brad and Angelina. But
what has Tom Cruise said about it?
Tom Cruise, they just kind of give a vague, oh, Surrey is doing fine type of thing.
They haven't said, how come no one's seen her? Well, no. Why doesn't someone get the health services, social services department, whatever it's called, on them? Can't someone call a complaint in? If you just make a phone call and say someone's abusing their kid, they got to make a visit. What, it's different if you're Tom Cruise? I'm going to call. I'm calling wherever the fuck they live and saying, I think you got to check out Tom Cruise's kid because I'm worried. I know things. And
you suspect things.
If they neglect to check it out, they could be liable.
Well, I think the other internet rumors is that her parents haven't ever seen the child. And this is the kid that was born in April.
Well, what do the parents say about it?
They are keeping very hush-hush. I think they are very close to hiring, those people that used to come and kidnap your kid from the cult and deprogram them.
Oh, they don't like Mr. Cruise very much.
I don't think they do. I think they were like very, very Catholic type of family, and he came in with his
What's her
DC
name
nines from
Katie Holmes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if she's related to Johnny Wad Holmes.
That's what I was going for, but I forget. I just shut up.
I think Johnny Wad Holmes may be a made-up name.
John Holmes.
Well,
Mr. Dabalina.
John. Well, and for anybody who doesn't know, there are people in the international listening audience that might not know that Johnny Wad Holmes was a great American porn star.
When you say great, what do you mean by that?
Well, he was a very popular porn star in the 70s, 80s, sported the popular porn star mustache, and was also known as the 13.5-inch king.
Yes, and he was also involved in a very gruesome murder.
Yes, we never saw that movie.
I saw most of that movie.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and...
how was it?
It was pretty good. That movie was good. What was that called again? Something Land Murders? The Wonderland Murders?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was intense.
I got to go see that.
It was kind of like... It reminded me of what the ending scene of... or one of the ending scenes of Boogie Nights was based on.
Oh, really?
That whole where they go and rob that dealer...
So it was all like
Sister Christian
cocaine type of thing?
Yeah, he knew that this guy had fucking lots and lots of coke, and he brought his boys over there, and they robbed him at gunpoint, and then it killed them. They got slaughtered. They changed it a little in Boogie Nights, but the real story is a lot more gruesome.
But he died of AIDS.
Yeah. I don't even know if he was actually in the apartment. He might have just stayed in the car at the time of the murder.
I see.
But he arranged everything. The only reason they went to that house was because he hooked it up. He was desperate. He was broke.
Well, I was going to say, the porn
Junkie.
industry has really evolved in the past, 10 or 20 years. I mean, back in the 70s, it was, they weren't like these, the adult film awards. There wasn't any of that. They were kind of like shunned, and they were like a dark and not respected industry.
Well, video changed everything.
Video did change everything. Things were able to be shot much cheaper.
It killed the audio star.
It did kill the audio star. I saw a John Holmes movie in the theater once.
Well, I don't want to hear about that.
Well, it was funny. We were like 16, and it was like me and some friends from school had skipped school, and we wanted to do something that we could tell people that we thought would be cool. And of course, we were skeeved out the whole time because the theater, we took the train from Dover, New Jersey into Manhattan, and went to Times Square, one of those really awful types of porn theaters they used to have there. And we went and we saw Sweet Alice, starring Johnny Wad Holmes. And it was really embarrassing because you're sitting there we're all different, genders, and we're sitting in this really filthy theater. And I don't think we made it for the whole film. I think we got so disgusted that we just had to run out of there. But it was very weird.
Good stuff. Good times. I saw Caligula down there when I was about 12.
Was that in a porn theater or a regular theater?
It wasn't a porn theater, but it was definitely pretty much a porn movie.
That was was it rated X?
It was rated X.
There was fisting, wasn't there?
It was all kinds of fun stuff.
There was like orgies and
Malcolm McDowell was the best part.
So there was real stars in this movie?
Malcolm McDowell.
Did he show anything?
He may have, yeah. I think you might have seen a little something there.
Oh, really?
He's not shy, Malcolm McDowell.
Well, no.
He's controversial. He's not dim no more.
Yeah. Him and his he's always good, but he's also is he creepy? Is he Matt Dillon creepy, or is he something else?
No, he's a reptile caught in he's a reptile caught in a human's body.
Exactly.
You can see it in his eyes. He's a blue-blooded Englishman. But that's okay. He seems like he wants to be good, but he just inherently isn't.
Song poem. That's the end? Song poem. Song poem. Song poem. Song poem. Song poem. Song poem. That's the end? Song poem. Song poem. Song poem. It's time for a song poem of the week, brought to you by Pat Moriarity from patmoriarity.com. This week's song is entitled The Immortal Danny Mose.
There he goes, Danny Mose. There he goes, Danny Mose.
There he goes, Danny Mose. That daredevil hellcat. That Parsons aristocrat. One of the elite that drives a fine car. When he's with his cronies, some of them are phonies. And they've all been refreshed at a bar. The cars all pull over and let him take over. 'Cause he's hell on wheels. When he takes off, he's not playing golf. It's rubber, not blubber, he feels. He takes off with a screech, and I'm one to preach, 'cause he keeps the cops' table in fair. If it wasn't for him, life would be grim, 'cause they'd have nobody to snare. He keeps them in beans, for without other means, well, they're just lucky to have him around. He's all that I say, and there'll come a day they'll erect a memorial to him in this town. Yeah, they'll erect a memorial to him in this town. There he goes. Danny Mose. That daredevil hellcat.
There he goes, Danny Mose. There he goes, Danny Mose.
Wow, Dave. He's a Hellcat.
Daredevil Hellcat.
He's a daredevil Hellcat with cronies.
Yeah, he's a guy from the World War II genre. The World War II era.
So
He's a fighting man. Deserves a monument.
I'm not quite sure why he deserves to have a statue in the town. They don't
He's
really
a
get into
Hellcat,
it.
because you're a Hellcat, daredevils deserve these things.
Wow. That's really, I mean, this seems like it would be something from like 1958 or 1962.
True, and it's probably about a guy who was, 40 at that point, 45.
It's like Eric Von Zipper from the Beach Blanket Bingo movies. I used to love watching those Beach Blanket Bingo movies on the, the 4:30 movies on ABC back when we were little. And they had the movies from 4:30 to, I guess they played from 4:30 to 6.
What, after school movies?
It wasn't the after school specials, but it was movies that were on from. See, this was back before the news was on from like 5 o'clock till 8 o'clock, basically.
Back before the news was on 24/7.
Yeah, well, it was way before that. I mean, we had a black and white television, but ABC had that 4:30 movie, and there was weeks that I was just glued to it. And the Beach Blanket Bingo week with Annette and Frankie.
Say that fresh 10 times.
And I couldn't say it right the first time. But Eric Von Zipper, he's one of those characters. And I eventually worked with with this woman. Her name was Lee when I worked on the Wall Street area. And that guy was actually her uncle. It was like, I don't know
what
how
an obscure thing.
I don't know how it came up in conversation, but I was just like, just like Eric Von Zipper. And she goes, oh my God, that's my Uncle Harvey. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? She's like, no. Oh, it was very funny. It was very. I mean, that's one of those obscure references. But yeah, so the immortal Danny Mose, he deserves a statue for just being a Hellcat daredevil.
What kind of name is that, Mose? That must be short for Moskowitz.
Oh, so you think Danny Mose might have been living a secret?
Or maybe it was Mosley. Danny Mosley. Which would be fine. If he's Moskowitz, we have to take him into the Gestapo.
Yeah.
He's going to have to register.
Well, thanks again, Pat Moriarty, for sending us another delightful song poem. You have anything else to say, or are we going to wrap it up?
Yeah, let's wrap this. Let's take this one to go. Let's put this in a doggy bag.
Please.
Does anyone ever get a who out there actually gets doggy bags?
I don't think people say doggy bag. I think they say, "Can I just take this home?"
I just say, "Can you touch this for me as much as possible, and then to stir it up and put it in something?" Because that's what they do.
Are you talking about your food?
Yeah, when they take it from you, though, they take it to go. That's great. What, do they get an extra tip for it to go? You think you got to say, please take good care of this. I'm going to give you an extra tip. Don't do anything you wouldn't do to it for yourself.
Yeah, your best bet
it to go.
is not taking it to go and just ordering a whole other plate. If you like it so much to take it home, just say, hey, I'd like another order of this to go. But don't take, because it's already made the trip from the kitchen to your table. Now you're expecting it to make the trip from your table. And you ever see how they gather the plates when they're taking it to go? They gather them the same way they would gather them if they were just going to the kitchen to clean them off.
I hear that.
They don't take special care, so I guess...
As that moisture falls off their brow, it lands in your fucking Meister brow.
But it's not. It's the moisture. It's a possible nose hair. A booger, a skin flake.
Boogers.
I mean, there's just...
Excuse me, sir, there's a booger in my soup.
There is just a whole bunch of possibilities there. So don't... if you take anything home from the show today...
Don't take home boogers in your soup.
Exactly. If you'd like to come and visit us on the internets, we are at daveandshecky.podomatic.com. Podomatic has added a little quiz the little quiz feature to the website. So you can, how well do you know Dave and Shecky? You can come and try and figure it out. How well do you want to know Dave and Shecky?
Podomatic.
Podomatic.
Dude, that's Podomatic, man. Far out, solid, Podomatic. You know what I'm saying? Make that part of your vocabulary. Podomatic, man.
I love Podomatic, and I love the guys at Podomatic.
Podomatic.
And I don't know if I love them because they're in constant contact with us. They really are always
I think the guys are stalking us at the Podomatic.
No.
We got a stalker problem on the hand.
One of the guys from Podomatic did his own quiz, and one of his questions was, I'm happiest when I'm, and then there was like all these, there was one flying, drunk, and some other ones, and I just put drunk, but apparently he owns his own airplane.
Whoa. Well, hey, you know.
So, you know, the guys at Podomatic, maybe it's a set, maybe it's something that was handed down to him
could
from...
be a jet. It could be a John Travolta special.
That's what immediately I thought. I'm like, oh my God, he's got a jet. He's flying jets around. He's got his own private jet.
He's Mark Cuban over here.
Maybe he is. Maybe Brian from Podomatic is like a
Brian
gazillionaire.
Cuban.
Maybe he might hold patents.
That sounds weird.
I'm sorry. But we love Podomatic, and feel free to go to Podomatic.com and get your own goddamn podcast. It's free.
I'm having my own website. It's called Modomatic. And we're going to be featuring people with mod haircuts. Come on down to Modomatic.
Do we know anybody with a mod haircut presently?
I will create one just for the site.
All right. That's fair enough.
Modomatic.
We'll let you know how Dave's progress is on Modomatic. In the meantime, head to daveandshecky.podomatic.com and leave us a comment. All right. We will see you next week.